Yo, what's up, guys? Today we're back with another Worlds Within game night. It is 6/27/23. Um, yeah, we had a lot of interesting stuff that we talked about last week. Talked about Swoosh and their collaboration with Fortnite. We talked about the upcoming Board Ape Mint with the HTML. It's not HTML. I'm thinking of with their upcoming like design basement and game that they're releasing. We also talked about Only Up, which is still the biggest game that's blowing up that's NFT related this for the past couple of weeks. And so yeah, we're here to hang out, talk about Web3 games and whatnot, and kind of show you guys, what we think is interesting in the Web3 space. Right. One thing I would like to clarify, right? One, none of this is financial advice. If you have the opportunity to play a lot of these games, which I highly recommend you should, the stuff that we are recommending and talking about, yes, there may be a financial aspect to it, but that doesn't mean that you have to like purchase or participate in that financial like product or asset, right? That is your choice. You choose on what you decide on what you meant. You decide on what you choose to participate with. For us, it's more so about like who is doing things that are interesting with the technology, right? And who is making and who is making games that are interesting, right? And who's using the games in an interesting way. With that said, I'm here with Awesomeness JL and VTS. They were here last week, and JL's a regular on the show. And yeah, man, how are you guys feeling? I'll start with VTS real quick, and then we'll ask JL.
I'm feeling pretty good. Today's been a good day so far. Uh, we'll see how it goes in these matches. Could change.
It, Go ahead, JL.
Yo, 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 it's your boy Awesome JL, aka the biggest music artist in the metaverse. And I'm in the building, man. Back fresh off vacation. Me and wifey went to the Carolinas. Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. A little under the weather, but you know how we do. We push up and continue to keep it moving. But yeah, I'm feeling great. Yeah, I'm ready to jump into this news. Some of this news. Ready to catch people up to speed on what's going on with Swoosh and everything else.
Nice. That is definitely what's up. So last week we talked about how, Nike has an NFT branch and it is massive right now. And basically they have a massive partnership with Fortnite that has been taking place, and people who are participating with Dot Swoosh are able to, potentially have their NFTs in game, or there's some type of gaming mechanic based on that, so that the people who are fans of Dot Swoosh and fans of Fortnite will be able to have their digital assets in game. But the person who knows about that, the most is JL, who is participating in the Dot Swoosh Fortnite collab.
All right, so here's the deal. So they pretty much had a special event. All right, they had a special event in Fortnite called Airphoria, right? And Airphoria is basically like they basically designed a level that's specifically to celebrate the Nike Air Max. I think they got like Nike Air Max day or something like that coming up. But this specifically, they wanted to create a world, right? And so they created this world, and it's really like like a platformer vibe, right? So you jump into the world, and they gave you challenges. And these challenges, you basically had to run around and find these different items they wanted you to find. And so you ran around, found the items, and then that was pretty much it. Now, what you actually earn for this is actually, so the first thing you had to do was link your accounts, right? You had to link your Nike account with the Fortnite account, right? And then you had to link the Dot Swoosh account if you had one, because everyone doesn't have a Dot Swoosh account. But you had to connect your Dot Swoosh account too, right? So the Dot Swoosh account, they actually just put a tweet out today, and it says if you account, they made a error right there. But if you have your account link, you will receive your Dot Swoosh achievement by 8.8. So you pretty much receive an achievement for linking your accounts with the .swoosh account, right? And that achievement is an NFT. It's like a metal trophy. It looks pretty cool. It's like a gold trophy. Also, you got to receive a if you played the island, the Airforia island for 10 minutes plus, you'll receive the AM1 back bling in your locker starting 628. So those are the two things that you got for linking your accounts, with the .swoosh account, which, that's a great start. You know what I mean? That's a great start to what they're doing, to have this be like a normal thing going forward. So yeah, it was pretty cool. The levels were pretty cool. The level design was cool. It was different. It was definitely a different vibe. I didn't get a chance to play the Travis Scott thing when they had it, but I did play this. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. And it was definitely different. It was very different.
Did you get a chance to record some gameplay?
No, I didn't. And it's actually about to close. It closed at 8:00 too. So no, I did not get a chance to record any gameplay. I should have. I had just set up like all of my stuff with my PC. So yeah, I should have got game footage, but I didn't. So I'm a little behind with that.
No worries, bro. I just think that it's cool to actually see brands that we know and recognize participating in the ecosystem. We always talk about massive adoption. And this is like the first chance where we're really seeing, you know, brands that people talk about all the time. Like, what if Fortnite had NFTs, or what if, Call of Duty or Battlefield, these major gaming titles had NFTs, and this is the first implementation of it. I just think that, like, as of right now, we're really starting to see a transition from the old style of thinking of, NFTs are bad from a developer standpoint, to one where, people who are interested in having those digital assets, specific brands are catering to that and partnering with major games. you know, V, I do want to ask you a question real quick. Now that we are starting to see major brands and major corporations take note of the NFT scene and not use it in a gimmicky way, right? Like in the past, we've had collaborations that felt like, oh, this company is collabing with this blockchain or this network in a way that's just like to get a bag. Now that we're seeing these type of collaborations and partnerships, do you feel like, more traditional style gamers are going to be willing to play in these types of environments, or do you feel like more developers are going to want to create, Web3 like games?
I think they'll still be hesitant for a little bit, but I think as it becomes more normalized, um, a lot more indie developers will play around with it, and we'll see like maybe someone. It only takes one game to really like do something really really cool with it, and then everyone thinks it's cool. I think that's how usually it goes. But I think it'll slowly just bleed into like mainstream gaming, because that's what happened with like DLCs. Like DLCs aren't a thing. Microtransactions, as unpopular as they were also like only a few games did them at a time, and then some game did it really well, and now everyone's doing them. Like no game nowadays doesn't have microtransactions for like additional content, but now you can potentially own that content instead of just them piecemealing you the game, and then once it's gone, it's gone. I think that's probably the better of the outcomes.
For sure. I've noticed that, one of the big things that we talk about is like nostalgia, right? And people who play games that, like they reminisce the days of early Halo. They reminisce the days of, you know, early even early Fortnite from some of the videos I've been watching here recently. And basically they want experiences that, well, when they look back fondly on those experiences, they say, I wish that, that I could have had more time and more memories in those games from early on, right? I what I One of the things that I often think about, like back when I used to play Halo, I spent all the time to get like the ninja skin that they had and whatnot, and I was like, you know what,
Hayabusa.
the Hayabusa, yes, the Hayabusa skin. It was like the skin to have in Halo 3, right?
Oh
And
yeah, everybody was going for that one.
Yeah, it was the coolest one. You know, it looked like Shredder almost.
I
And
Well, it was a skin to get if you couldn't get Recon. Recon was the one to get if you could get it. Then it was Hayabusa.
Hayabusa was the best looking skin they had, I think.
Recon was like a normal skin to me. I never liked the Recon skin like that.
What? I only
Yeah, bro,
rocked the Recon armor.
the Hayabusa was
Yeah,
fire.
the Hayabusa was a Gorel skin. Like it was like, man, do you got that? Like that's the only one I wanted in Halo 3. Like I didn't really like the other ones.
So to give everyone an example of what we're talking about, right? This is the skin that we're talking about, the Hayabusa, right? This is a
Sheesh.
classic Halo skin, right?
Fire.
And you know, it had like the whole shredder look to it. It looked as though you're like half Halo, half ninja type of thing. And yeah, to me, this was the skin to have. Everyone wanted this. But after you finish playing Halo 3, you couldn't take this with you, right? This is just something that's it's like a memory or a talking point that people from that time remember. But imagine if you could still have that Hayabusa skin or that achievement attached to your digital wallet or something like that. And so I think that even though nostalgia is major, this is like an underrated way in which we see that projects and games can have that that conversation with the people who will have that conversation and basically have audience members and gamers that are fans of those games from the past. They can they can still have that achievement attached to their digital wallet almost. And so what I would love to be able to have something that said that I unlocked the Hayabusa skin in Halo 3 right now. You know? To me that would be cool.
But you know what? And that's why I love what Nike stepped out and did. It's like the beginning of that, right? Because they stepped out and as soon as they started, they said, hey, if you participated in this, you're gonna unlock this achievement, right? So you get that achievement on Swoosh. You know what I mean? When you get that achievement, years down the line, when Fortnite is on their 20th collaboration with Nike, right? And they go create a game or something, they're gonna be like, man, I wish I was here when they first started, who has the, day one achievement, right? You can just pull that up and be like, oh, I got it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's starting. It's starting right now. You know what I mean? I'm just glad that it's starting already, so that we don't miss too many games, and end up like Halo was, where you have this infamous skin and you can't even do anything with it. It's locked inside of a ecosystem somewhere.
You're touching on something major there. What you're talking about right now is something that's not often discussed in Web3. And, people always say everything has to be interoperable. We need interoperability. We need to be able to take assets from one game and then put it in another game, right? And we need to be able to make it so that all this stuff works seamlessly. And I don't think that's going to happen on the surface, right? As of right now, all these games are essential silos where it's like one game has a set of information, another game has a set of information. And I do think eventually we'll see a system take place where, there will be a almost like a collaboration between those entities, the same way that they do with open source software, where it's like they use a similar set of tools between the games that are out there. As of right now, we're so early in this type of technology that we don't think like we talk about this being possible. We just don't know if it's actually going to happen yet. It might be something that happens 5-10 years down the road, which is a long time in the gaming space. The other thing I'll say is this, right? I'm expecting people not to like Web3 gaming early on, right? I'm expecting people to say for there to be backlash, right? But what happens is that eventually what happens is gamers don't really know what they want, right? Like I remember when the Xbox One was released and people were like, "How dare it not have a disc component? I need to be able to put the Blu-ray DVD in the Xbox. I need to put the disc in the PlayStation." And it's like nowadays what? Why on earth would I go to the store to buy a game? Like, why, like, why would I do
Let
that?
let alone want a display on your system. Like it's like who cares? Like I need the hard drive to be, up to date, Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's some crazy times, man. And you still got and it's crazy, man, because I actually used to keep up with the gaming community a lot. I used to watch them a lot on YouTube. And you had the Xbox versus the PlayStation versus Nintendo boys and all that stuff, right? And like to this day, like they're still like arguing about which one is better. And like but they're all fighting this fight where they're fighting against, everything eventually coming into one, and they're like, no, man, Xbox is not gonna go away. And no, it's not, cloud gaming is not gonna take over, and my system is more important, it's just so funny to me, man, just watching that and thinking about where we are now, right? And every once in a while, crypto is brought up, Web3 is brought up, and they go against that too. Just like, man, no one's gonna play that. This, that. And I'm like, you say that now, and then your kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna be like, I don't want to play an Xbox or a PlayStation. I want to play Web3 games, right? It's happening now. So people better brace themselves.
Definitely. I think you're definitely right. So I definitely want to move on to our next topic. I want to show a little spotlight to a game that I see, to me, that feels like they're doing things the right way. Um, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm someone that's always like, I want to see demos. I want to be able to play something beforehand. Um, I get the idea of being able to kickstart or launchpad games, in the ecosystem. I understand that. I know that's something that has to happen, right? At the same time, I'm really interested in small games or indie developed games where people are approaching small projects and building that reputation of being a builder and making something that's interesting. Um, this is not We're not promoted to talk about this game or anything like this. To me, I just like the fact that they're not promising something that I know most teams couldn't deliver on, right? They're saying that it's a basically a game. They're not asking for a ton of ADA or anything like that. But more so, I like what they're building, and I kind of want to show everyone the trailer for it. And this is blockchain mages, right? Like, they have an event coming up on the third. Like I said, this is not promo for them or anything like that. But I really like what they're doing. And this is a trailer for the game. Simple indie style game. It's gonna really depend on the gameplay, how it's styled, how it's built, right? And to me, I think this is the foundation that we need. We need to have the cornucopias, and we need to have games that are traditionally styled.
Yeah, I can already tell I like this game. I like this gameplay loop. It's simple platform.
Super simple gameplay. It's going to really depend on how well they build out the levels and whatnot. But this is something I'm interested in, right? Where you have these style of games where, it's not going to take a team of 20, 30 people to build something like this, right? But you are going to get a game where they have some aspect of it complete. They have characters that they're fighting against. And I think that's interesting. They say the game is going to be completely free to play, right? Which is a definite win for the community. And it's going to have holders get beta access. So as long as they deliver like on the game early on, I would be interested to see like how far they are with the game, if they have any parts of it that we can start playing early on, or if it's going to be available like within the first 2 or 3 weeks of the game. And even if it's something small, like give us like a level of like 2 to 3, give us 2 to 3 levels. I don't want to ask for something crazy, but just give us like a general idea of what's in the game. Are there additional potions? Are there boss fights or that type of thing? To me, this is interesting. in the same way that metaverse style projects like Clay, Cornucopias, you know, Other Side, like in the same way that those are interesting to me, this is also interesting to me because I feel like there's not enough spotlight put on indie developers, right? And I definitely want to go to V for his input on this because, as one of the developers on Worlds Within and for Fragment, he his perspective can clue us into what a lot of developers are thinking about when it comes to these style of games and what it's like for an indie team to really build.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I can kind of understand some things, but everyone's different. Everyone has their own mindsets. But like, I guess, what was the question again? Like what they're thinking?
Well, not more so what they're thinking, but like, how do you feel about this style of process where, where people are making a focus on building indie games versus trying to compete with the massive multiplayer games out there? A lot of teams, the out of the gate, they try to
Right.
compete with AAA games. This is something where it's like, what, they're taking a shot at the small indie games out there. And another good example of something like this is Eden 7, right? Where Eden 7, he's focused on making games that the indie developers typically try to make, where it's like 2D MMO style games. And
Right.
so, from your perspective, what do you think of the approach of making a smaller indie style game versus trying to take on the AAA titles that are out there from a Web3 perspective?
I think it makes more sense financially and like as a or as like a technical debt perspective, because like big games take multiple years to make and cost a ton of money to make, let alone like server costs, maintenance, the cost of maintenance and everything. So small games like this, like they're kind of like more one and done, maybe require very little like updates and very little infrastructure costs, are much more sustainable for the developers to keep working on them, building them, and actually like deliver, and not like taking a shot at any like projects or anything, but we've seen a few of them that like have promised a lot, um, and then don't really pan out. It doesn't really pan out. Or like, wasn't there an article where like Decentraland didn't have a whole lot of users? Um,
Yes, that is true. So I definitely think you're onto something there, right? When we talk about metaverses, right, there is a massive disconnect between current metaverses like Decentraland and Sandbox
right,
and those versus something like Roblox and Minecraft, right? Where it's like, yes, you still have the user created ability. Yes, you still have user created content, but Minecraft and Roblox tend to see a that user created content flourish in a way where young gamers and young people who are playing games want to see or want to play user created content on those games. I think there's something to be said about our generation growing up with Call of Duty, Fortnite, Battlefield, and then a different generation growing up with Minecraft and Roblox, and then seeing them modify Roblox to be something similar to Call of Duty, or modifying or making Unreal games like BattleBit, right? Which is very popular right now. But it's a remake of Battlefield, but with Roblox like characters, right? And this is massively popular right now. And the reason why is because it's catering to an audience whose nostalgia is based off of Roblox style games. And so right now on Steam, this is going crazy. And I'll show you guys an example of it. That way you can kind of see what the game looks like. And the people that are playing, it's like I believe you can have up to 250 players at a time.
Hello, ladies.
And
yeah,
so
What is the game called again?
this is BattleBit, right? It is basically it's on Steam right now. It is the number one game, I believe, globally, right?
is it actually?
Uh, yes, right. As of
Oh
right
shit!
now, it is the number one game globally on Steam. And look at the graphics, right? But yet in Web3, we say if it doesn't have graphics that are similar to Fortnite or Call of Duty or ultra realistic, nobody's going to play it. But this is the type of indie game where if you're building the game around people having fun with their friends, I can't think of like the graphics don't matter, right?
Vince, I remember when people were saying Fortnite's graphics was garbage. When Fortnite first came out, they were like, don't nobody want to play this. The graphics aren't realistic. And then it blew up, you know? So I think the whole standard as far as graphics goes, like it's you know, it's only so far you can go before you start getting diminishing returns, you know, on graphic fidelity. You know what I mean? So you know, it's only so much realism we want to see. You know, it really takes the fun aspect out of the game. You know, once it start looking like real life, it's like, okay, so I should just do this in real life now. You know, that takes the whole video game, you know, aspect from it, in my opinion. But yeah, this makes perfect sense for me, for something like this to be popping, because everything is being simplified, you know, and they're breaking it back down, and it's all about the fun aspects of the game now. And that's the way it should be, honestly.
You know what this reminds me of, guys? I don't know if you've ever seen Crunker.io, but this feels like Big Team Battle slash Battlefield meets Crunker.io, right? And Crunker.io is a super popular web based game, right? That a bunch of kids used to play while they're at school. And, it's just like one of those games that everyone knew about, right? And it had Minecraft slash Roblox style characters, but in small arenas that was ready to play on the web. And this feels like Crunker.io meets Battlefield. And it's resonating with people because it's reminding them of being in high school or being in middle school playing Crunker or playing those web based games, but now they get to do it against a whole army of people. And so this game is definitely reminiscent of that, but this goes to show like indie development teams can have good ideas on gaming, which makes me excited for not only chaos factions but also battle mages, right? These are teams, small teams, looking to build fun games in interesting ways. And honestly, I think that is kind of the future of Web3.
Yeah, you know, it's the funny part. The funny part is the last Battlefield game actually flopped.
Well,
Battlefield 2042.
I
So
think what's happened, they're also trying to capitalize on is there hasn't been a good Battlefield game since Battlefield 4. Like, well, Battlefield 1 was okay, it was pretty
yeah.
good. But like it hasn't
But
been like,
four was the like good game.
yeah,
Like
that's what
everyone like loved it.
I'm a bigger fan of Battlefield 3. But before, like I think most people say it was no, Bad Company. I think everyone says had the best gameplay or story. One of those two.
Bad Company had the
Bad Company.
best, like it had the best story mode, and it was reminiscent of like the Modern Warfare game story mode. Back when Call of Duty was about story mode and narrative and that type of stuff, right?
Right.
As of right now, it's like Call of Duty is really about the multiplayer, and it's not the same, but it is what it is, right? I think with a push for multiplayer games, I'm really interested in seeing indie teams that aren't going to get the attention build narrative based stuff currently, and so I think
So
that's dope.
let me ask y'all this on the developer end. What would it 250 players plus, right? In Battle Bit remastered. Obviously, it's like what's that, like 8-bit, 16-bit characters or something like that. Looks like they got higher resolution environments. What would it take for us to get something like this on the blockchain?
Are you telling me?
Yeah.
It. I don't know what their infrastructure is like, but it probably allow. I would say that their server costs are pretty high. You can't get that many players in one game without having like pretty decent hardware backing it up. And I would imagine they have multiple instances of these games and multiple servers. I wonder if they're. I don't. I haven't. I want to get this game. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm wondering if people are allowed to self-host, and I want to know what those specifications are, because that'd be interesting. That'd be a good way to probably like offload a lot of that infrastructure cost. Is if you push it onto the community, and the trade-off is they can host their own servers with their own maps or their own game modes that they run 24/7. But
Great point. That's a great point, bro. I hate that I have to interrupt you real quick to speak on that. Self-hosting for FPS games has a long history, right? A super long history of self-hosting, where you look at games like H1Z1. A self-hosted server ends up becoming PUBG, right? Where it's like, but if I remember correctly, and you can tell me this or not, V, if H1Z1 is a mod on the game Arma,
yeah, I believe
and
so.
and so basically H1Z1, a massive popular battle royale game that ends up kicking off the whole like Fortnite battle royale craze. H1Z1 was the first one to kind of start that with a battle royale with zombies, and from there you get PUBG, right? And then from there you get Fortnite. And so, like, if the users are able to self-host servers and then mod them however they choose, that is a step-by-step guide on people in traditional style gaming being able to monetize their own servers, because depending on what community there is, there might be a range of rules out there on what you can do in that server, or if that server has its own cost or game modes and that type of thing, right? I remember this is something that happened in Minecraft all the time. There are certain Minecraft servers where to get things in that server you had to purchase resources. But the thing is that what separates that idea from Web3 is that we haven't seen any games really connect the Web2 style of entrepreneurship in video games to the Web3 style of entrepreneurship in video games. Imagine if there's a metaverse out there where, of course, you could pay to host your own server, and that's disseminated through the blockchain in some way. I haven't really seen that. And I think the closest thing that's out there is probably like the domes from Cornucopias, where it's like you'll be able to have ownership and operate businesses within your territory in the game. But that's not the same as being able to be like, okay, I have my own server and I can modify this game however I choose to, right? And then I can charge people for upgrades in that server. And that's one of the reasons why entrepreneurship in Minecraft, entrepreneurship in traditional style FPS games is so high currently.
Have you had a chance to check into IAG? They actually do cloud servers for on the blockchain as well. I don't think they outsource to any like Web2 cloud-based infrastructures, but yeah, you should definitely check them out. IAG, they're definitely like one of the top storage services on Cardano. So they're actually making a run right now. So check them out. And also I was about to ask too, the reason why I brought them up is because I wanted to ask, do you think infrastructure like that, somebody that's has a cloud-based infrastructure based on Cardano, do you think they could help with something like this? As far as like with the servers and stuff like that when it comes to gaming?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to take place, and I do think it's difficult on being able to maintain something like that from my standpoint. But to really understand the complexities of it, I'm going to go ahead and ask V real quick.
Sorry, I was watching the gameplay. What was the question? I want to get this game, so I'm trying to see if it's if I really really like it or not. So that's why
No, you good. My question was with somebody like IAG, which is like a cloud-based storage service built on Cardano, would they be able to help facilitate servers and things of that nature that could help with the bandwidth of a game like this?
I don't know. It depends on what like you're expecting to happen, because it sounds like is it storage on the blockchain? Is it just like a traditional server that they just use to run nodes on the blockchain? Uh So I guess
I
I'm
think
not
it's
too
I think it's
familiar.
like a combination. I think it's like a combination.
I think most of the gameplay would happen off blockchain because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to, unless you're modifying assets to like, um, I guess actually with CIP68, maybe you could. It would still be very slow compared to like running things in the server. And then anytime you make like big changes, like to your character or to items, maybe that gets broadcasted out to the blockchain. So it would probably just have to be like traditional servers that they would have. They could help if they have extras, and it depends on like what they're configured for. If they're configured for like maybe running just like Cardano nodes, um, maybe not, because I know some of these, depending on how they're running it on the back end, they might need graphics cards, if I remember correctly. And I don't know if
Absolutely.
Cardano nodes utilize graphics cards at all. I'm pretty sure they don't, because I don't use graphics cards on mine.
So I think you guys are kind of right. It is going to take a collaboration, right? Um, a good example of this is, there are game engines on Cardano, right? And that is like a good example of that is the Jungle Wars game by Pymea. And I'm going to try to get you guys an example of this. Maybe a video of the gameplay real quick. But the game engine on Pymea has a game called Jungle Wars, right? And what Jungle Wars is that they're using dynamic NFTs, right, for a tower defense style game, right? Um, like I'm afraid to kind of just like go to the game because I don't have the NFTs for the game or whatever. But the game itself, it's browser based, right? And you're able to just go to a link and play it. And what they do is because it's on a layer two, they're able to take the NFTs that also behave like player accounts and upgrade them over time based off of things that happen in game, and it's entirely on chain, right? With something as complex as a first person shooter that's as fast paced as a first person shooter, you're not going to be able to do that, right? But what you can do is you can upgrade and have dynamic NFTs that are, updated at the end of a match, right? And so that's the closest thing that I think we can get to that's going to have that style of gameplay, right? When you're going to be able to update NFTs on the blockchain. But at the same time, when I look at it in that manner, I think that, you know, typically with the server hosting ability for games, I normally think that, there's a bunch of services out there where people are allow anyone to spin up a game server, right? That make it much easier. Minecraft has a ton of services that are out there where it's like, okay, I want to create a Minecraft server. Let me go to this entity and press a button, and once I press that button, boom! All of a sudden, it spins up my Minecraft server with the latest updates that has the latest version of Minecraft on it with X number of features and of X number of features and X number of, I guess,
Plugins.
plugins. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. With that said, I think that this style of game is definitely the the future, but we are waiting to see some type of Web3 version of that.
Speaking of Minecraft servers, I'm actually trying to run one right now on this monitor. Just throwing a bunch of errors. Something with Java. It's weird that was a coincidence.
So to before we start playing the game, there is something I want to show you guys. One last thing that we brought up last week, which is, we're still waiting on the Forge from Yuga Labs. Um, and we saw the trailer last week. I haven't had the opportunity to see new information. I'm still waiting to see how people are going to be able to like participate with this and interact once it is released. And so, give me 1 second. We had the opportunity to see the trailer last week. I'm gonna play it again. Also, like none of the projects that we're showing and games that we're talking about, like we're not sponsored by any of this stuff. It's more so because we're interested in Web3 gaming and interested in gaming in general that we're talking about this stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer again because I'm excited for it and I'm interested to see what they do with their game.
Was that a container of mayo as one of the powerful upgrades?
Let's see.
It looked like pink mayo, spicy mayo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Good eye and an energy drink.
The energy drink kind of makes sense, but mayo.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how they do the ranking system with people being able to vote on user created assets or user created environments in the game. I think that's going to be super interesting. From there, like I said, I'm still excited. I'm waiting to hear more information. I think that the reason why it's important to kind of follow along to see what they're doing as the largest NFT/gaming project in the space is, you kind of want to be up to date on what they're implementing, and because depending on what they make, it's going to determine, what we end up seeing from a lot of other projects in the ecosystem. So yeah, other than that, guys, I kind of want to talk to you. What have you seen in the ecosystem currently? What games have you seen that you want to talk about and bring up that are interesting to you currently? And yeah.
One game I actually been excited about for a long time, but I'm not sure if they're putting out information, is Yumi. So Yumi Universe is definitely like one of my top game. It's the game I've really been anticipating a lot, right? And I'm not really sure what they have going on, but that is definitely one of my most anticipated games on the Cardano ecosystem. Okay, they actually just revealed another character, a new character, so called Mini Moo. So they actually got the type and everything. This reminds me of Pokemon so much. I love Pokemon. So um okay, so I don't know how that can you guys see that? You guys can see it? It's on the screen, right?
Looks exactly like a Pokemon.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, this looks fire. Yeah, man, I just been anticipating this for a minute. Like, and I can't wait to really see the mechanics of how it is. Of course, they show like the world and they show different things, but I'm just waiting, man. I'm really just waiting. But yeah, that's the last thing I really seen was this reveal right here. Also another game that we're all kind of fond of is actually Makasi too as well. That's another game. I'm not sure. I know I'm butchering their name. I don't even know if I can find them on here. Probably got some name that's totally different. But anyway, I like what they're doing. I actually seen someone in the ecosystem actually made a post that they were getting like some insane amount of ADA off of their Makosis. Okay, you got it. Yeah. I seen someone saying they're making like 30,000 ADA a month. And I was like, what? It was insane. I'm pretty sure they got a lot of Makasis though, but that's neither here or there. 30,000 ADA a month. I mean, it's pretty lit, man. Pretty lit. And the MCOS, I think that's how you say it. MCOS, the tokens aren't cheap at all either. They are not cheap. I think I put in like 10 ADA. I always price it versus 10 ADA. I think 10 ADA, I can get like 300 tokens or something, like 200 tokens. It's a small amount. It's like, oh, okay, these things got some weight out here. So yeah, shout out to Makasi, man. And shout out to Belt. Belt, he shields both of these projects like on Twitter 24/7. But I always like these projects in the ecosystem, but it seems like they're both, doing well.
Yeah, definitely. I believe the guy you're talking about, his name's like Arthur Goldman, and he's like the AJ Goldman. Here it is. Here's the guy you're talking about. He is a Makasi fanatic, right?
Oh
And
yeah, that's it right
this is the
there.
post, right? Making a killing off of Makasi. And if I believe correctly, not only is he a Makasi well, but he has a ton of the legendary like Makasi assets and whatnot. And he's making $4,000 a month off of the staking and playing the game. That is insane. Definitely insane.
That's
And
crazy.
ever since this post went out, Makasi has definitely been on a gigantic run. Yeah, it's good to see that the games that we've been hearing about, for the past 2 years are finally starting to get released from the real projects. And so, yeah, man, I think that Makasi is something to look into because they have a game that you can play. They're actually delivering what they're talking about. Projects that are when they have, a lot of times I feel like you can see the projects that are building. You kind of know if they're building or not, right? You're going to see consistent updates. You're going to see them talk about the technology. Like whether the founders are docs or undocs doesn't really matter. But what does matter is that being able to have access to early betas and demos and them sharing, like the ability to play the game. I remember a year ago at Rare Bloom, they brought the demo for Makasi, right? They brought the demo for Makasi at Rare Bloom last year. So it was playable. So that means that they're showing up to events in person, right? Typically projects that show up in person, they're really willing to invest in their project, in their ecosystem, if they're willing to show up in person. That's why CNFTCon and Rare Bloom were so important, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to see who is really about making a difference in the community and really about, actually taking their community serious. And then bringing demos there is how you take it to the next level if you're a gaming related project. But it is that time. We are going to hop into some gameplay of Chaos Factions. I'm going to give everyone a second to get prepared real quick, and then we are going to get to it. We'll send the link in the chat, of course, for anyone that wants to play. And yeah. If you guys would like, I'm always streaming my perspective, right? JL, if you want to stream your perspective, because everyone gets to see how nice I am at the game, right? We know that I'm accurate. You know that I hit my shots. We know that I'm nice with the pivoting and the ducking behind the geo before I take shots and stuff like that. We know I'm nice, but let's see if someone else is as nice as they say they are.
You got something to say?
I was about to say, shots fired. That's he said, let's see if somebody else is nice if they say they are. So, I mean, I never said I was nice. Never said that, but I will be nice. So, but yeah, I'll stream it. Hold on, let me go to the website real quick.
Oh, my chair's so creaky.
I wasn't trying to take shots, definitely wasn't trying to
Nah, I know.
take shots. But more so, I want to see, we see me play the game all the time. We see my victories and my failures when I get killed in game. We see it all the time. But now, I can kind of like go hand without being worried about people watching me play. That's the difference. There's a different type of pressure on you when people can see you play the game.
I think you can lower the volume of the music too if you hit that gear on the top left.
It's interesting. I can't even hear the music.
Oh, I heard it. We're right here.
Let me see. Okay.
But speaking of like hosting servers, I actually had a conversation about self-hosting.
Really? In relation to what?
Just Quake. You remember Quake?
Quake,
Oh,
you say?
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Quake. Yeah.
Quake.
Quake and the original CS.
Yeah, those are classic FPS games. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, they were. It's very common for people to host their own servers and actually start businesses, and like back in the early day.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That's that is super common. When I think of early FPSs, but that's common right now. Look at the wave of GTA content creators with their own servers. Guys like T Grizzly,
But
guys like Aiden Ross.
is that something that was supported by the devs? Because I feel like for GTA they reverse engineered that, but I'm actually not into GTA like that.
That I think you're right. I think it was reverse engineered via mods and whatnot. But I love the idea of developers supporting a mod system, a system for creators and whatnot.
No, I agree. I think it makes it a lot more open to the community.
Yeah, definitely does. I think you're right. I think that conversation we should talk about later. Because I'm super interested in relation to what, because the the like traditional style gaming, server hosting is the way communities were built, right? It is the way in which you could create a variety of like users in a community, you know. So yeah, I think that's super interesting. All right. Once you pick your character, I'm gonna go ahead and create a match, and we'll give people the opportunity to.
Gotta connect my wallet. Forgot.
Yeah, just click to join the match, and let me join the match that you have there. Right. So hold on. You leave match and then recreate the match because you picked a different map than I picked.
Oh,
But
what map?
it was the port.
Yeah, I picked
Oh,
Port.
Port.
I never played that map.
Let's play it.
Pick my character. I gotta make note of this. I just got a bug. I gotta make note of this. I need a piece of paper. Let's 99%. Sorry, I ended up getting like a weird like 99% like loading bug thing. I wanted to make note of it before I forgot.
No worries.
Yeah, you gotta keep up with them PC errors, man.
Well, it
I
being like
probably
a
started that too soon. That's my fault.
maybe.
Yo, if you're in the chat, we'll run real quick, and then we'll get you guys in there. That's absolutely my fault.
Oh wow, this like a wide open map. Oh, people already what?
So this map is not actually that wide open. It is this map is inspired by one of my favorite maps of all time.
Call of Duty.
It is.
Yeah, can you name which one? I think we just had a conversation about this one not that long ago.
So I was watching some content recently, and they were saying that one of the most modified games out there is, well, one of the most, I don't know how to really frame this or really discuss it or the best way to say it, but they're saying that, you know, when there's user created tools made, one of the most popular game modes for people to make with user-created tools is Call of Duty Zombies. And so right now in VR chat, there are multiple replicas of Call of Duty Zombies in the game that people have been building.
It's so
Same
unlucky
with
that you spawned
Pavlov.
there. Pavlov?
Yeah,
I mean, Halo did it too. Halo did, Infection was super popular.
yeah.
Halo was
Infection
awesome.
is a very popular game mode. You're absolutely right. Now, this level, we created this as a way to have like basically a testing ground for the gaming experience when playing the game. But I always, instead of focusing on just winning, I always want to talk about stuff.
I was trying to jump out, but I hit the leaderboards button. Oh. Wow, I'm actually...
Oh no.
I think I'm lagging.
Sure.
What's my...
This map reminds me. I feel like I walked into that. That's crazy.
My internet's bugging out. Just a
This
little
map
bit of a
reminds
lag.
me of the
It's not my fault.
so. It reminds me of Rocket League. You know.
This
And
reminds me
it's
of Rocket League.
Yes.
What reminds
What?
you of Rocket League?
Yeah, what about this map?
Yo, I'm not gonna let y'all act like I'm the crazy one. Right here, okay?
What map on Rocket
Is it all
League?
the cars and the big ball?
Okay, so one, you know what? I see y'all roasting me. It's okay though. It's okay. It reminds me of Rocket League. It's a mixture between Rocket League and
Oh man.
Call of Duty. That's to me. Like I get it.
What's going on?
So the actual, if you look at the way the buildings are shaped around the map, this is a very Rocket League-esque inspired. I know that sounds crazy. Because y'all are like, what does this have anything to do with Rocket League?
Yo, look how BTS look.
I've played some Rocket League, so maybe I'm missing something.
Yo, BTS is like, okay, you think so? That was hilarious.
Might be the colors.
Well, it is. So actually, yes, the colors and the shape of the buildings.
No, the
Very Rocket League.
colors make sense. That definitely makes sense. I can
It's
definitely
very
see.
Rocket League inspired. Trust me, I
Yeah,
know.
I can see
know for
that.
sure.
I can see that. The colors, definitely the colors. Okay.
And the
So
shape of the buildings.
And the shape of the buildings. It's very inspired by Rocket League, honestly.
Very square.
Trust me.
I can't believe I never played this map.
We almost never play this map. I don't know why.
Initially it was for testing because that's what you have like a bunch of those targets. So we were testing out the bullet spread.
So yeah, just hit leave match on the bottom right. It's the red
Oh
button.
yeah, I forgot. My screen's up. Boom.
And so yeah, it is. This was a map where we did a ton of testing, right? Seeing how many people we could get into the matches and whatnot. Seeing, the testing out the different guns. When we did our first like network upgrade for like the servers and whatnot, this was the map where we played multiple matches on trying to make sure the game feel was right. I think it's good, man. So we're gonna run one more match. If anyone wants to join, they definitely can. And then we're gonna wrap up the show because it's already been an hour. And of course, I appreciate everyone for tuning in, whether you watch this live or after the fact, or whether you see the content on Twitter and soon to be TikTok. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna jump into it. So yeah, we rarely play this map, man, and that's because the map is the thing about like this style of map is you can't. There's nowhere to hide, right? It's just
Come on,
like,
man. Come on.
There's nowhere to hide.
Speaking of
right?
nowhere to hide, like got like 5 seconds.
Nowhere to hide, and then you just gotta run around the map.
Bro, come on. I'm not gonna let you troll me like that, bro. Come on, get out of here. Not gonna let you troll me like that. And who else is following me? No, you're never gonna catch me. Never.
Oh, I got something behind.
Yo, it's always when you're reloading and there's people shooting at you.
Man, come on, get out of here. What did you do? Respawn right behind me? Like,
Potentially, that could have been it.
There's a small map.
so crazy.
Like the original.
Or I was just hiding.
How would you hide? I just killed you. Oh man, no. Somebody else shooting at me, man.
What do you mean?
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh, let's go.
Oh, whoa. You know, I was definitely trying to screen cheat. That's crazy. All right. I see that doesn't work as well as I thought it did.
Oh, somebody's shooting. Oh, let's go. Right in the crossfire, baby. Let's go. Caught you. Let's go. What? I didn't even hear a gunshot.
Hate I had to do it to you, bro.
Instantaneous.
Okay, let's go.
Yo, where's this guy at?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay. I see what we're doing now.
What? This dude is like glitching out right now.
No, I'm spamming the crouch.
That's crouch meta.
Crouch meta.
Come on, man. Come on. The crouch meta. Nah, man.
You can't get headshots and I'm constantly crouching.
What is going on?
Oh, yeah.
Both of y'all trolling me. Both of y'all trolling me.
One of us
right
is
now.
lagging really bad.
I don't know who it is.
It might be you.
Oh no. Oh no. Nah. Nah, I can't make it that easy, bro. Oh man. This dude right here, man. Get out of here.
Oh, you on it.
He just literally
Whoa, bro, relax.
he's not gonna give you a chance, bro. Oh, come here. Oh, nah, You're not about to turn the gun on me. No, watch out. Out, fam. Reload. Gotta reload. Follow me. Yeah. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Crouch meta confirmed. Crouch meta confirmed. It is what it is. All right,
I
guys.
gotta start using that.
So I definitely appreciate you guys for joining this week. I feel like we had a bunch of different interesting topics. I feel like we got the chance to figure out what Swoosh was doing with JL's experience. We had the opportunity to talk about Blockchain Mages, which is upcoming. Their game looks awesome. We talked about, I'm drawing a blank on what we talked about, but we talked about the Bored Ape game with the voting ability. We talked about a number of things that were super interesting. So yeah, and we had a chance to play some Chaos Factions. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Now that we're wrapping up, I'm gonna ask VTS, do you have any last things you want to say to everyone?
No, just thanks for stopping by and watching us, and thanks for having me on. It's always good to be with you guys.
Definitely. JL?
Yo, shout out to everybody viewing. We appreciate you guys checking out Game Night. Be sure to pull up tomorrow for World's Wednesdays. Actually got a lot of news. So on the heels of all this .swoosh stuff, it's been a lot of other articles related to Web3 gaming. I feel like they kind of like jumped it off, if you will, And so we'll be discussing that tomorrow at World's Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST. So y'all pull up. And it's a Twitter space, by the way. So pull up to the Twitter space.
Definitely show up to World Wednesday. We have a number of interesting guests that come onto the show and community members that join us in a conversation about Web3 gaming. Also, if you appreciate this style of content, be sure to check out worldswithin.io. We do have the Chaos Factions Generation 1 Mint going on right now. Pick up you some Chaos Factions crates. Go ahead and check out some of the weapons that we have in game and we're making available. Also, small update. We've been working on the fragment accounts. They're in a good spot. They look extremely good. We definitely want to get that out to the community as soon as possible. We're making sure that they're the best they can be before we release them. And stay tuned for an update. That's it for us, everyone. Take care.